Why do we neglect how we mentally approach things? Or why do we not spend enough time focusing on our mental preparation than we actually do in the skill that we're acquiring? And I've seen it so many times. I've seen people go to driving tests who drive really, really well, and yet they go to their driving test and they just fall apart. This video is to highlight what can go wrong in the first 5 minutes of your test, and maybe this will put you in good stead for something else, for anything else that you're learning. If I think about things on a personal level, I go through an emotional roller coaster in this channel all the time, ups and downs. The channel itself is something I love, giving my knowledge, whatever I know, to anyone who needs it, certainly in a driving sphere. I enjoy the whole process of filming, editing, thinking about video ideas. Pretty bad at scripting, which is why everything's always on the cuff. But my self-doubt about what it is that I'm doing is there. It's present all the time. This is not about me. What I'm trying to get across is that my head is constantly battling against me within this process. And I wanted to make this kind of a little bit personal, because if it's not personal, it's not real. So the first 5 minutes of her test. This is somebody who's quite accomplished as a driver. She's not bad. This mock test, by the way, is going to go out. So you're going to see the entire mock test. Unfortunately, she didn't pass. Spoiler alert, she didn't pass. But that first 5 minutes, where was she? Where was her mind? Was she reading the road? Was she following all the routines that she's learned? Or was her mind somewhere else completely? Success is not luck. Yeah, it kind of helps when things go your way. Then yeah, a little bit of luck never hurt anybody. But the difference between success and failure is, first of all, giving up. That's number one. The ability to remain focused in adversity. There's a great book, which I've forgotten the name of right now, written by a guy called Prof Steve Peters. Love his name, Professor Steve. He simplifies the brain into 3 parts. Now, obviously the brain is much more complex than that. You have the human brain, which is your empathy, your understanding, how you approach things in a rational way. You have your computer brain, which is where you store all your information, all the facts and the figures and the data and everything else that we talked about, that knowledge that you need to create. And then you have the chimp brain. He coins it as the chimp brain. In fact, he calls it the Chimp Paradox, which is the emotional response that we have to things. The chimp brain, as he puts it, is the part of the brain that will be telling you, oh, no, you don't want to be doing that. Oh, that's a bit too risky. You want to maybe pause, maybe hold back. Now, in our evolution as the human race, we needed this part of our brain to keep us safe. We need it probably now, maybe when we're making decisions about what it is that we want to do, whatever it is. Jump out of a plane, jump into the ocean. That voice that says, oh, your human brain says, oh God, I want to jump into the ocean. It just looks so inviting. I just really want to do it. And then your chimp brain jumps in and says, no, it's really deep. It's really dark. There could be things down there. You don't want to be doing that. Quite often the chimp brain wins. You can't, as Professor Steve, love that. As he says, you can't defeat this part of your brain. You can't stop it from telling you to do these things. But you can maybe open up a dialogue. You can understand that this portion of your brain is there, that it's going to have an influence. Now, I've been teaching for 12 years, and in 12 years, I've always mentioned the head. Now, I've only come across this book recently. When I heard about this book, I heard it on the radio, it really made me understand, like, yes, this part of my brain is interfering when I'm doing something, say, for example, like I'm shooting my YouTube videos, like, is it good enough? Is it, you're just not good enough? Why are you doing it? Stop it. Or when I'm going for a test and I get completely distracted, it's interfering. Like, oh, I wonder what the examiner's thinking. I wonder what, making you think about something that's not completely unrelated to what it is that you're doing. I've talked about this in another video, but it interferes. Our brains can only manage one task at a time. And I'm not talking about your respiration, your heartbeat. Anybody who's good at multitasking is very good at flitting between tasks. Now, this is not me, this is neuroscience. And again, look it up. So when you're on a driving test and you're not thinking about what it is that you're doing, if you're thinking, oh my God, the examiner's writing something, you're no longer thinking about the task in hand. Your brain's diverted, which means something's going to go wrong. So the purpose of this video is to get you to understand that this is going to happen. This is going to happen on your test. Your brain is going to distract you. So what can you do to prevent this from happening? First of all, understand it's going to happen. I've said that already. The second thing is find some tool that's going to help you to remain focused. In the driving sphere, I strongly recommend to commentary drive. What does that mean? That means every single process, every single action that you're doing, you're thinking about, you're concentrating about the task in hand. Whether it's a simple turn left or turn right, whether it's an approach to a roundabout, about what lane you should be in. Build your commentary drive. I'll put a link to it up here. If you want to start developing your commentary drive, follow this link. If you're getting any value out of this video, hit that like button. Maybe spread this message or share it. Share this message with somebody else. Now, is it just in driving? Now that I know that my brain is interfering, this extra voice in my head is interfering in whatever it is that I'm doing, could it potentially help me in other areas of my life? Is it possible that even throughout your training, now I'm talking to all the people out there that really struggle with driving, struggle with learning. Is it possible that your own brain, you yourself are telling yourself that you can't, when you're learning the control of the car, when you're learning elements of driving, whether it be again, crossroads, roundabouts, meeting situations, whatever it is it possible that your brain is actually intervening and stopping you from learning? Because we are complicated, because it says that we're not good enough. Is it possible? So forget the test. In your training, know that your brain is going to be doing this to you. This is powerful stuff. I personally understand this because, as I said to you before, I go through this. I go through this with the creation of this YouTube channel. My brain is constantly telling me, stop, it's not good enough. You're not good enough. You can't do it. It's too hard. Give up. Yeah, I could. People give up driving all the time. If you're struggling with manual cars, go to automatic. But remember, your brain is still going to interfere with an automatic. There are still things within driving. Fear, anxious, nervousness. This is evolution. You're fighting evolution here. It's still going to tell you can't do it. Understand it's going to take a little bit longer, but be aware of it. Open a dialogue. This is what he says. I'm still reading the book. I'm still learning. Open a dialogue with it. Say, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right. This is hard. This is going to be difficult. I get it, but I'm going to keep moving forwards. Is that okay with you? He's saying open a dialogue with yourself. That may make you sound a little bit crazy to some people, but whatever works, right? But watch her. She's a little bit overwhelmed. She turns right. She's driving down the road. She's reading the signs. She comes to the roundabout. I tell her to turn right at the roundabout. She doesn't signal. I then remind her that she's turning right at the roundabout. She still doesn't signal. That doesn't matter. She misses a signal. She comes round the roundabout. Watch her feet. The car is a diesel. It's driving around that bend at 10 miles an hour. It's a little bit too fast. She even makes a little noise. She feels out of control, but she can't concentrate on what she's doing. She's already not in the zone. She's not thinking about what she's doing. She comes up to the junction. I tell her to turn right. And she's doing the observation. She's looking, but I don't know where she is. She's not in the car. She's not present. And she goes to emerge and I have to stop her. This is in the first 5 minutes. She's not a bad driver. Yeah. Some of you, the cynics out there, might say, well, she just needs to do a little bit of practice. She'll get better. And yes, she just needs to do a little bit of practice and she will get better. But she wasn't in the room. The dialogue that was going on in her brain was completely distracting her. And she did things that she doesn't normally do. And this is going to happen to you. This is going to happen to you on the day of your test. So I strongly recommend you find some way, practice how to mentally approach whatever it is, whatever task, driving tests, theory tests, your exams at school, your job, your interview, your presentation that you're preparing, your YouTube channel that you're building. Understand this voice is going to be there in the back of your head telling you that you're not good enough, that you can't do it, that you shouldn't do it. Don't put yourself out there. And develop, when it comes to driving, develop a practical tool that's going to help you to remain focused. Now, the practical tool that I strongly recommend is commentary driving. It's what the police use when they are learning to drive on blue light. Ambulance and fire engines as well. It's part of the Cardington test, which is the highest test in the land. It's what the driving examiner has to pass. The Part 2 exam, the exam that driving instructors do, is of a high level. It's not part of the exam, but I strongly recommend that anyone who's doing a Part 2 test learns to commentary drive because it's going to keep you focused. And the first 5 minutes, that's part of it. So you control that first 5 minutes. And at some stage throughout the test, your brain is going to get in the way again. You're 15 minutes in, you're 20 minutes in. It's like, oh, things are going well. Are we scribbling? Focus. Why is it? Oh, you must think I should be doing it. This is when the lack of knowledge comes in as well. You know what you're supposed to do. You come to a crossroads, you turn right. Should I enter the crossroads? Do you know what? I don't know what I should do. because you've lost track. Stay focused. If you fail your driving test because you don't know something, fair enough. Go learn it, practice. If you fail your test because you haven't practiced something enough, practical driving terms, then go away, practice that. But if you fail your test because you mentally dissolve in the moment, it's horrible. When I'm taking people up to a driving test, I'm not, yes, some of them want a little bit of knowledge about, oh, what do I do here? What do I do there? For me, it's about mental preparation. I know from personal experience, mentally prepare. And these skills, this skill, knowing this voice is there, you can tackle anything. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm going to put a link in the description below of this particular book because I think it's fantastic. It's written in a really simple way, actually, and I'm still reading it. So maybe if I get any insights from it, I'll pass them on. If you're getting any value out of this video, usual stuff, hit the like button, subscribe if you want more content, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't know how I'm going to use this video. This is way too serious. No gimmicks in this one. Get well out. So whenever you're ready, drive off to the right. And if you just take this next road on the right just here, please. Roundabout, turn right. The roundabout, turn right, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, this way.
And at the end of the road, if you could turn right for me, please. Hang on, just wait, just wait. Okay, that's it.